Someone said on Twitter that I am driving the Bo Nickal hype train at this point. I don't think that's the case, but it's 4 wins, 4 appearances on this show. Let's get to number 4. Mr. Bo Nickal is joining us right now. Hello, Bo. How are you?
What up, Ariel? How we doing?
Not bad. Are you mad at me or something? What's going on?
No, I'm just tired, man.
It's a lot of
No,
talking.
I'm excited to be on here, but yeah, a long week. A lot of media. I just did a little more media and all that. So yeah, a lot of talking, but I'm excited to be on, man. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate
Of course, but you see, this is going to happen soon. Like we're like 2 fights away from you not coming on Monday. You're going to be impossible to get. This is happening. I just want you to know whether you like it or not. And we're already seeing like the early stages of it. But here's the thing: this is where you can let your hair down. You don't have to be Bo Nickal superstar. Just be yourself. Just hang out, chill out. I just want to let you know you don't have to impress us here.
I'm not worried about impressing you, man.
Okay.
I think that I'm not cooking any well done steak, so
perfect.
It's all good. I'm not going to impress you.
Well, you were cooking with Gaz all week. How about that? You came in. I'm not a big car guy. What was that car that you showed up in for the I think it was the presser on Thursday. What was that car?
Yeah, I rolled up in a Rolls. So normally I'm like rocking the minivan for most of the fight week, but the Rolls seemed appropriate. My management team was like, "Yo, this is your first one. Let's do it right." So yeah, they hooked it up, and yeah, I didn't mind.
It was fantastic, but in classic Twitter form, people are like, "Oh, you're supposed to get out of the back seat, not the front seat." I mean, come on with these guys. Did you get some of that shit?
Yeah, people always are gonna like say something like that. I'm like, dude, I'm going out of a Rolls Royce to go to the press conference of UFC 285 pay-per-view. Like, I don't care what you say, so it's all good.
How was, I'm going to ask you about the fight, obviously, but just like the whole experience, pay-per-view, John Jones, Vegas, now that it's all come and gone, and you're probably like, if you were a gas meter on a car, you're probably very close to empty at this point, and understandably so. How was the whole week for you?
The whole week was great. It was super awesome to kind of see everything that is involved in the event. It's such a big production. There's so much that goes on, and for me, I'm used to a little media here and there, right? Like we did a press conference for the NCAA tournament and stuff, but this like is a whole different beast. And so to be able to manage that, and I don't want to just manage and get through my interviews and like be a grump about it. Like most guys are cutting weight and they're like gonna be like complaining and stuff. Like I'm gonna be, excited and do my thing and be fully engaged and all in. And so, I enjoyed everything that the whole process, and was able to kind of manage the, I guess, excitement, the buzz, and I feel like pretty much went exactly as expected.
We talked about you not being a stranger fighting in front of a crowd, but here you are, first UFC fight officially, Vegas crowd, all that. Were there nerves?
Absolutely, a ton of nerves. So it was kind of interesting. I knew how I was going to react because I've been in situations like that. So typically I know what I'm going to feel. So when I start feeling the nerves, I start what my strategy is to cope with that is to just think about what I'm actually physically doing in the fight, right? Like make it simple. Like what's my game plan? What's my strategy? What are my first steps? Focus on that. Just think about that. And that way I'm not like kind of like a deer in the headlights. I just get to think about what I need to do and make it very much task oriented. And so that's what I'm thinking about back behind the curtains before I'm about to walk out. And you can kind of see it on the video of the fight. I just rewatched it for the first time, but I start to walk out and I'm very serious, very business. And then the people are all high fiving me and I just start grinning. And I'm just smiling. I'm just like, let's go. Like everybody's cheering for me. And then at that moment I was like, dude, like have some fun, embrace this, look around, like enjoy it. And then all the nerves really went away,
Wow.
So I was just excited to be there. And the least nervous I was, like the closer I got to the cage, the less nervous I was. And the least amount of nerves were like, once I got in the cage, I was like, I was shocked how at peace I felt and how calm I felt and just at home because, in my experience, typically it's kind of you still have a lot of nerves at that point, but I was like not nervous at all once I got in there.
So complete body of work, another great win, another finish, very dominant. How would you assess the entire performance? Are you happy with it?
Yeah, it was definitely super cool to whiff on a head kick and fall down in front of all those people.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Had to overcome a little adversity. But yeah, I look at the fight and I think there was things I could have done better. Still got the finish in the first round, didn't get hit. So 2 amateur fights, 4 pro fights, haven't got hit. Still pretty, which is always nice, healthy. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I did anything spectacular. I didn't do anything that was like, wow, like blow him out of the water, but I smashed the guy. So is what it is.
So what about this knee that he seems upset about?
Yeah,
His manager seems the internet is upset about it. Was it a low blow? Tell me about it.
right. So I think I wanna say a couple things. So I think his manager is upset about it. I don't think he's upset about it because after the fight, he was like dapping me up, telling me like, you know, thank you for the fight, and that he told me go get that belt. Like he was excited, like for me almost. And I think if I actually had kneed him in the nuts, he wouldn't have felt like that. And for me, when I look back on the film, I see what people are. I see like the angle that people see, and it's completely different from what actually happened because I got him right on the inside of the thigh, and so I saw his reaction. I don't think I know for a fact I didn't actually hit him in the nuts. There was 2 possible scenarios. Either it hurt him like where I hit him because I mean I definitely hit him on the thigh and landed it, or 2 he was trying to like fake like I hit him in the nuts and then get off the cage, which would make sense too because I obviously had a big advantage at that point. We're also like 20 seconds into the fight. But yeah, for me, like I know I didn't hit him low. I hit him right in the leg, and but people are going to say what they want to say, and the video is what it is. But I'm there's no doubt in my mind that I didn't hit him low.
Does that annoy you that it feels like people are trying to take something away from the win?
Yeah, it's just like a weird thing to do. Like I would just never. I don't relate to those people, and I think the people that do that have just like have never competed and have no common ground with me, not only in like what we do on a daily basis, but in general, just because they've never been in that situation and don't understand what it takes. And so it's just kind of a weird thing to try to do. Like I would never, I mean, I'm not like the type of person to try to discredit anything. And at the end of the day, like just grow up.
Yeah. What about the finish? I thought the broadcast was really interesting. Did you watch the fight back?
I was just able to for the first time like a little bit ago.
And I was just talking to Anthony Smith about this. He was on earlier, and I think it was DC. It might have been Rogan who was saying if you just like moved this way and leveled your chest to the mat, the choke would have come a lot sooner. And yet Anthony brought up something that I thought was really interesting. That like as a wrestler, you actually want to be closer and feel your opponent. So maybe those instincts were kicking in at that point. Looking back now, your assessment of that, do you think you could have ended him sooner? And if so, why didn't you do that?
I think the only way for me to have ended him sooner would have been to let go and get a different submission.
Oh, wow.
Because, um, I know what they're trying to say as far as like technically the way most people like to finish that position, arm triangle, is get out to the side, right? And like finish from side and put your knee on their hip. Like everybody does that, but that's not how I finish arm triangle. And that's, in my opinion, not the best way to finish arm triangle. So, of course we got high level guys, DC, Anthony, Joe, guys that have competed. And they have their ways that they like to finish their strategy. And I don't do that. I stay in mount or I stay in half guard. I don't really finish arm triangle ever from side. And that's just my preference. I have more control there. And when you go into side, there's just more opportunities for my opponent to roll. And I already didn't have him flat on his back. So I just needed to hold position there. And so in my mind, I wasn't really squeezing hard at the beginning. I was just holding him there and trying to work his arm above his head and get his back flat. And I ideally would have liked to go to mount, but he was pinching my foot and keeping it trapped so that I couldn't go to mount. But yeah, I think that from a technical aspect, I have my way I like to finish that. And like, if you're a fan and you're telling me this and that, like, I don't really respect that because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I pretty much might as well be especially in that position. And I feel like I know what I'm doing. So yeah.
F off.
Basically that. But like, I mean, guys like DC, Joe, Anthony, I mean, we could obviously talk about that in a sense. Like we're training in practice. I'd be like, guys, this is how I like to finish. This is my strategy here. And as soon as I showed them that, I'm sure they'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like maybe I like to finish it a different way, but everybody's different. And I choked them out. So we're good to go.
For me, it was actually super impressive because it just kind of showed off your strength, right? Because like I felt like you were taking the harder route to finish it, and you were just showing your pure strength. So I don't think it was a bad thing.
It was two. No, there was two ways to go about it. Like I felt like I had him. I was like, all right, I've got a lot of time here. If I let go of this, then I could do something else, or I can just slowly work him to a point where I know I'm going to get it. So it was like, take the route that took a little longer if there was more of a sure thing, or take the route that is a little more volatile that could be quicker. And I was like, I'm just going to do the sure thing because I want to finish.
What were you saying after the fight, like on the cage? You were very fired up. Do you remember what you were saying? I loved it.
Is this a rhetorical question or
no? I think you were saying like I'm the man or this is my house, but I couldn't quite make out.
I said I'm that dude. Y'all can't mess with me.
Yes, I liked it. I mean, it doesn't sound as menacing as you say it this way, but it was still pretty great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's the facts. I mean, of course, I'm like the most fired up possible in that moment. So I'm just going to say exactly how I feel. And generally, I can keep it a little more controlled and be a little more relaxed. But in that moment, it was like,
no, I liked it.
That's the truth.
I liked the emotion. It felt good. It felt good to see you, kind of let your hair down, like I said, and just like let it all out. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, right? I mean, it's not easy to have all this expectation every time, and people are now expecting a first round finish. And God forbid you go into the second round. Oh my God, what are they going to say about you then? That's a lot of pressure.
Yo, if I go, I swear, as soon as I go in the second round, pipe train, this dude sucks.
Done.
Like, I'm gonna get hit. I haven't been hit one time. I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get leg kicked. I'm gonna get calf kicked once, and then I'm gonna finish the dude. And then everybody's gonna say, "See, he sucks."
Did you see this?
That's what's gonna happen.
Did you see this quote from Michael Chandler?
I did. Yeah, I did.
For those that didn't see it, this is what he said. He said, "You, Bo Nickal, have quote exponential potential," end quote. But he also said, "You are getting a little bit too talky for the average fan's liking. I think it's a little unbecoming to come into the UFC off Contender Series and talk about fighting Khamzat Chimaev." Your response?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Like, I think that there's a lot of wisdom in that statement. I think Michael Chandler is a fan of me. I think Michael Chandler wants me to win. First off, he said my potential is exponential. So let's listen to what he's actually saying, right? Like, he's talking about it in a perspective of the fans, and if I say, yo, give me Khamzat, I'll violate this guy. 99% of MMA fans are going to say, Bo Nickal is an idiot, right? Like, they don't know what they're talking about. And so that's the perspective I think Chandler's taking, especially when I hear you read the quote. He's not hating on me at all. And, does he have room? He doesn't even, he's not even a guy that I don't think would do that because he's always been cool to me. Like, he's always been nice to me. He's a wrestler. And so first off, a guy that is as big as Michael Chandler is talking about a guy that just made his UFC debut. So that's a big deal. But secondly, I don't really feel like he's trying to like put me down. He's just trying to, I think that's how he sees it. He's not saying like, yo, Bo, slow your roll, Khamzat would smash you. He's saying, if you say these things, the fans are going to perceive it a certain way, which is true.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. And that's a very good take on that. By the way, did you hear Jamie's walkout music? Did that annoy you at all?
Murderer, that one?
I know what Bo don't know. That's a line in that song. I thought that was a deep cut.
Really?
I thought that was a deep cut. Touch him up and go. Dang, dang. Here comes the hot stuff. But I heard that line and I thought that was a bit of a shot. No?
No, it was a shot. We're fighting.
Yeah.
So.
You didn't realize that in the moment.
No, I didn't. I didn't realize that. I was just chilling back there, bobbing. I'm like, "That's a good song. Like,
Yeah.
nice, let's go." I like when my opponents have a good walkout. It makes it the whole everything better. Like, it's just more exciting for everyone.
Overall, did you come back? Like, did you watch the Jones fight in the arena, or did you watch it in the back? What did you do?
So I was able to get back to my Airbnb and throw it up on the TV. So I got to watch it. Got to watch. That was the only fight I got to watch. I didn't get to watch any others.
What did you think of his performance? Crazy, right?
Beautiful. That was he was exactly right. You know, it was a mismatch, and that I said this. I predicted a 4th round finish. I predicted a finish later in the rounds. I thought that he would eventually wear Cyril down and do what he did to him. To do it when he's fresh, you know, taking a page out of my book, to be honest. Like, nice, bro. Throw his ass down and freaking finish him. So I think that John could have done that at any point to anybody in his career for the most part. Like, you look at his last fights against Smith and against Dominic Reyes, against Thiago. I think if he wanted to do that to them, he would have done it. He was just a little bored. Like, it's weird to say because he's competing against such great opponents, but he's just really freaking good.
You think he does that to Stipe?
It'll be a more competitive fight, but I would think that I don't think he'll try to do that to Stipe. I think he'll strike with him. I think maybe if he wanted to do that to Stipe, that he could, but I don't think he'll fight him the same way.
Okay. Because the Stipe is wrestling too, right? Stipe has much better wrestling than
Stipe has much better wrestling. You know, John Jones. I think John Jones is obviously a crazy athlete, longest reach in MMA, and you know, great cardio, great balance, athleticism, all that. But he's smart. He's smarter. He's probably the smartest fighter. To, you know, him and GSP are and Khabib are probably like the 3 smartest fighters ever, and he's gonna win in the best way for him to win. Whether that's a little more like sometimes I think later in his career he took a little more of a difficult path, like I said with Reyes and the other guys, but he's gonna win. He's gonna make sure he wins the fight. That's the bottom line.
Best thing about the whole week for you? Best moment, thing that will stick out?
The best moment of the whole week. I think there was a couple that come to mind. The first moment that comes to mind is being back in my dressing room, in the locker room, warming up. I got like a couple minutes before I'm about to walk out, and I'm sharing a locker room with Jones, and he comes in, and I'm like, this is crazy. Immediately, like, we got a mat, and he's like, let's wrestle, bro. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. We started like doing our thing. And immediately I was like, this is nuts. Like, you know, he rolled in with 30 people, like his crew's like awesome. Everybody was good vibes. Starts putting Bible verses, scriptures all around, like taping them up. And was able to, like, him, me, Anthony Cassar, and his pastor, we like said a prayer before the fight. Like, he invited me to be a part of that with him. And it was just really, really cool to do that. And it got me like in the right place mentally to fight for sure. Like, I was already there, but that put me like over the top. So, you know, of course that was cool. Walking out, hearing the fans' reception, them cheering for me. You know, I've said this a couple times since, like, in my post fight, but at Penn State, like, I already have a built-in fan base that they love me because I'm wearing blue and white. And of course they got to know me more and they love me for how I competed, but they're going to cheer for Penn State no matter what. You go into the UFC, like, there's no Penn State. There's no, it's you. And to get the reception I did, I was very grateful, and I felt very, very humbled that people would want to, that they appreciate what I do. And I would say the last thing that really sticks out was just getting In-N-Out Burger and smashing some In-N-Out with all my bros, my wife, and all my loved ones post fight at the Airbnb. That was really cool too.
Animal style? Did you go animal style?
Oh yeah, we got it all. We had, like, there was a bunch of us. We got like 30 burgers. I think I ate 5.
So. Oh my gosh, 5 burgers? Animal. Guess what? Those burgers were well done. I can assure you of that.
It's a different thing, dude.
I'm just
It's a
saying.
smash burger, bro.
I'm just saying. By the way, speaking of Penn State, what's this Thon thing that I saw you walk out in front of all these people? What is that?
Yeah, so Thon is like one of the largest philanthropy events in the world. They raise money for pediatric cancer, and I believe they do 48 or 46 hours straight. It's a dance marathon. So
Wow.
there's dancers that are designated, and they stay on their feet and dance for 40 something hours straight and raise money. They usually raise I think this year they raised $14 million for pediatric cancer.
Wow. That's incredible. I saw the crowd that you walked out to. That's at Penn State, right?
Yeah, it's a big thing at Penn State. So they do that at a few Big Ten universities, but Penn State's by far the biggest. And they just had me go out and hype up the dancers, right? Because they've been dancing at that point for 30 plus hours, and they need a little motivation. So yeah, it was really, I was grateful to be a part of it.
Two last things, and we'll let you go. When do you want to return?
International Fight Week, maybe August at the latest.
Nice.
So that's what I'm on right now.
Love it. Any name?
Whoever is trying to get smashed.
Love it. Last thing. I know NCAA tournament's coming up. Wrestling, it's not that, there's just so much, right? But I want to get into it. And DC's always telling me stuff. And every time I watch it, I'm into it. It's hard to find. Gable's on, I watch it. Can you give me a name or two that I need to watch?
Yep. Roman Bravo Young.
Know him, yeah.
Carter Starachi.
Okay.
Aaron Brooks. Greg Kirkfleet. Max Dean. Alex Facundo. Shane Van Ness. Bo Bartlett. Let me see here. Am I missing anybody? I think that's the entire Penn State lineup.
Oh, that was the whole team? I know Roman is a Penn State guy. That's the entire squad. Any one of those guys? Is Roman going to do MMA?
Oh. Is Roman going to do MMA? I hope.
I hope.
And the last one, I forgot one guy, and he's a friggin' monster. Levi Haynes, true freshman Big Ten champion. Y'all keep your eye on Levi Haynes, 18 years old, competing against 23, 24-year-old guys, just won the Big Ten tournament, #1 ranked kid in the country right now. And Pennsylvania kid, savage. So Levi Haynes is another one. Y'all keep your eyes peeled.
Do you help these guys prepare? Are you allowed to do that to help them prepare for the tournament?
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. You're not on the staff though, right?
No.
But you're allowed to help
I'm not
them.
on the staff, but I'm able to train with them. I'm able to help them and stuff. And I just try to, more than anything, be a friend and talk with them and give them insight into my mentality, how I approach a match, right? Because they know how to wrestle, right? These kids been wrestling since they were in diapers. And so I'm just more help them with how to handle the pressure and relax and do their best. But yeah, being able to do that and being able to just be around them, it still motivates me and lifts me up.
Great stuff, man. Appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much, Bo. Congrats on the first official UFC win, and hopefully you get some time to rest now and not talk about yourself. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. Thank you so much, and congrats again. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Errol. Appreciate you.
All right, there he is, Bo Nickal.